Good morning, good morning. Good morning, everyone, on Wednesday Wisdom on Women of Light. And if you're watching on YouTube, hi on there too. We have the beautiful Lisa here, and it's actually book week, right? So we have Lisa, who has just launched a beautiful children's book, Billy Bobbarooni and the Mystery Words.
Yep, Billy Bobbarooni.
Sounds really cool. Yeah. So, Lisa, tell us a bit about the idea of why you created this in the first place. Like, because you work with teachers, right?
Yeah, I've been a teacher for many years, and then I went over to New York and worked as a literacy consultant over there for a few years. And then I came back and started my own business as a literacy consultant here in Australia. I'm based in Melbourne. And so I work with teachers and schools to improve literacy outcomes, and I try and do it through the power and pleasure of literacy and having fun with literacy. So I go into schools and I run professional development for teachers and try and make it fun and engaging and serious too, because we look at lots of research and lots of best practice methods. But then I actually go into classrooms and I work with the children, with the teachers watching, so that they can see my theories and ideas in practice. Walking the talk, I think,
Yeah.
You can stand up and tell people what to do, but unless you can go show them, it's not as effective. So I go in and I write stories in front of students. That's called modelled writing, where you actually show children how to think like a writer and how to select the right words and how to start pieces. So over the years, I have written lots of stories, and Billy Bobbarooni emerged during one of those sessions. I was talking with grade 1, 2 children, and I said, "Oh, what am I going to call my main character?" And we had the alphabet strip, and I went, Billy Bobbarooni. It just came out, and
yeah, right.
He was born about 20 years ago, and I finally put lots of different stories into this children's novel, which is for readers 8+.
Okay.
There's lots in there for all ages.
Yeah. And so isn't it funny how it just came out? So obviously he was already there, and we just had to...
A mixture of lots of kids that I've taught over the years.
Yeah. And so that's really intriguing that you support kids to come up with words and
to think. Talk about women of light, husbands of light.
Yeah.
Husbands of caffeine.
Yeah, husbands of caffeine. So that's really interesting that you get them to think like an author, like a writer.
Mm. Yeah, a lot of the modelling that we really should be doing for kids is thinking before you write, not just how you write sentences and just writing for no reason, but thinking about your purpose. What is it you're trying to do? Lots of young ones like to amuse their friends, so they like to write humorous pieces, but the national curriculum requires them to write information reports and persuasive text and more formal writing. And of course we should teach all of that, but I think a lot of the fun has gone out the window. And
absolutely,
come in, the kids say, "When are you coming back?"
Yeah.
I say, they make up the most ridiculous scenario you can think of, and the kids are hilarious.
Yeah.
I spend a lot of my day just thinking, I can't believe I'm this lucky to hear these creative ideas from these beautiful little beams of light.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, so I'm all about spreading the joy, and my book is embedded with fun. So there's riddles and there's jokes, and because I'm passionate about that sort of thing. But there's also, I've woven in, it's sort of a multi-genre piece, because I've woven in poetry and songs and different pieces, because there's a chapter called Author's Chair, where the children sit in the author's chair and share their writing. And so that gives an opportunity for different pieces to come forward.
So you were also, before we got on screen, or before we got on onto Facebook, you were saying that was it Billy Bobbarooni himself that was or was it the teacher? There was someone you were saying, it was talking about having to learn how to do the jitterbug.
Yes, so there's look, this story is about community, and you asked how it came about. Partly, I had all this backlog of ideas and things that I was doing, but then lockdown happened last year, and we were just about 2 days off going to Hawaii when ScoMo said no travel, and I was going to speak at a conference over there, and Paul and my son Marcus were coming, and we were going to then have this amazing family holiday. And all of a sudden, there was nothing. I couldn't go into schools to work, and I hadn't realised about this whole Zoom working situation. And I thought, well, what am I going to do with the time? And so I decided I was going to write this book that I've always, how many people, have this idea that they're going to write a book one day?
Me.
Right, exactly. And we all have a book in us,
Yeah.
We've all got lived experience. We all have something to share. And so I thought, well, I've been given time now. There's no excuse. It's always been, I'm too busy, I haven't got time. So Billy Bobbarooni I wrote in lockdown last year, and because we were in that 5 kilometre zone, like, I don't know if you realise, in Sydney, we were in lockdown down here in Melbourne for 7 months last year.
I know. I actually do, because I had a lot of clients that I was working with who were, single women living by themselves and having to work from home. It was horrendous. Yeah.
Full on.
Yeah.
Think of these teachers that I've been working with who have primary school age children and toddlers at home.
Yeah.
Teach a class of 5-year-olds on the screen. Like, people were absolutely pushed to their limits, but boy, there's people are they're just capable.
Incredible.
It's but people shouldn't be pushed to breaking point like that. But anyway, that was why I had the time to write Billy Bobbarooni. But we're in the 5K zone, and my community, going on our walks, we've lived in this house for 23 or 4 years now, and some of the elderly people have died and passed on and moved on, and new families coming in, and it's wonderful to see the new children, exploring our park, because we live along the Yarra River parklands. And so the local community came into such sharp focus, and I felt really blessed to live where we do, and I'm feeling immense gratitude for everybody. And there was an elderly gentleman who first welcomed us to the area 24 years ago when we moved in, and he's since passed on. And he really inspired one of the elder characters. So this is a story about a community and the elders and the youngsters exploring the park, and of course there's a bit of a mystery in there, and some code to crack. But Professor Porterman was the whole keeper of the history, and he was the old jitterbug champion.
That's right. Yeah.
Dancing. And he had to learn the twist to win his wife's heart. And this all occurred in the local dance hall, and he explains all of this to the kids. So I'm encouraging the kids to watch some old jitterbug dance moves. And one group of kids were watching the old elders doing the jitterbug, and it was all in black and white with the old music. And they're like, no wonder Grandpa's knees are sore. Really quite physical, they flip the women over, and the kids that you can almost see the ladies' underwear, and
so that's the way you've been. You've pivoted, right? You were just saying that you're now doing everything online and engaging with 5-year-olds.
Yeah, the Children's Book Council of Australia. It's their book week, annual book week, and it's a huge deal in schools. The kids dress up as their favourite book characters, and the teachers dress up, and they read all the books that are shortlisted. And you can get on the website if you're at home with kids, get on the Children's Book Council of Australia website. If you're homeschooling, there's great resources for activities to do. And any of the shortlisted Children's Book Council of Australia books are usually really good. So it's a good buying guide. So I had author visits booked, and I'm great at working live with kids, you know, in the same space. But I've now, I was just telling Elizabeth that I have to do sessions now with kids that are beamed into their homes. So I'll probably have, I've got one session on Friday with I think it's 145 prep students. So that's 145 5-year-olds I have to keep entertained for 45 minutes, and I'm terrified.
On a screen, right? Yeah.
So we're going to be doing the twist and looking at a few jitterbug bits and pieces just to get the wriggles out halfway through, and hopefully I'll survive it.
Yeah. It's going to be interesting. And so how do people get onto you to grab your book?
Oh, well, Lapland Productions. Oh, well, you know me, Elizabeth, I don't do anything by halves. I decided I'm writing this book and I've got time to become an independent publisher as well.
Of course, why not? Yeah.
So I started an independent publishing imprint called Lapland Productions. I have a Finnish background, so Lapland there, but also my name's Lisa and my husband's name's Paul. He's like the tech guy. So Lisa and Paul. So
awesome.
There's a couple of meanings for that. But so we started our own publishing imprint, and really passionate about being independent. I didn't want to sell books through Amazon because of the big corporations, and I didn't really want to have any of my money going towards shooting phallic rockets into space.
Yeah.
I just thought, no, gonna do it indie. Printers in Victoria. I've used everybody's Australian who's been involved. A huge team.
Awesome.
Editors, graphic designers. It's not for the faint-hearted doing.
I can only imagine, because I know that publishing in itself is a big thing. So to create from scratch, the whole process would have been intense.
Yes.
And write a book at the same time.
My naivety and passion to decide to do something interesting just got the job done. But yeah. And I would never want to put anybody off, but it is, had I known what was involved when I took my first steps, I might have actually backtracked and, you know, done it differently. But I have absolutely no regrets. I went through some periods of intense stress and wondering whether I'd taken on too much. But all journeys are like that. It's like me trekking in the Himalayas. I don't like walking uphill. Somehow I planned that trip.
Yeah. And you just start doing it, right? One foot in front of the other, and you'll see things as they come along, right?
Yeah, and I felt like I was going to die along the way, and tell the tale. But look, life's about, for me, experiences. You know, I just want to have a lot of different experiences. I did do a 9-episode TV program on Channel 31, our local TV station. And with no budget, we did 9 episodes called Writer's Notebook. I even had my own jingle, Writer's Notebook with Lisa Keskinen.
Awesome.
And so that was great, and I've done radio as well. And so the next natural step, I think, was okay, get this book done.
Yeah, and so
I do want to encourage people, you know, in this Women of Light. I woke up this morning and I felt like a woman of light.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, I thought, what a great name. Well, I'm a woman. I said to my husband, I'm a woman of light.
Yeah, absolutely. That's what we're here to encourage, right?
Oh, I'm so joyous this morning. I think that everybody has a book inside them, and if you have a passion to make that happen, you just have to start.
Yeah.
Just need to take a step.
So that's my next question, right? Like like this is just an on the side live while we're on the interview, but you saying that you take people through the literacy thing, one of the reasons I know I've had a massive journey, you know a little bit of it from, we've know each other from previous experience. But
that was an adventure, by the way, but I can't remember the mountain we ended up going to.
Yeah.
I
can't remember it either. But it was going to be mined, wasn't it? I don't know if it's.
Yes. No, it's been left alone.
Oh, awesome. Yeah. Yeah. So for now. Too many other things taking the focus away. Like, isn't it crazy? But like, I've just had a massive life, and I love experiences too. One of my resistances is that the written word is just not my thing. Like, and so do you take people through that, or is that through you only do that as an education piece in your
I had a lot to learn myself, so I wrote my first draft, which sort of spilled out really easily, and of course then thought I really need professionals to look at this. I mean, that would be my biggest advice. Self-publishing shouldn't just be done alone. It takes you need people to, and not friends, family members to give you advice. You need professionals in the book industry, and there's a lot of people who've gone indie. So I was lucky. First of all, I've been a member of the Australian Society of Authors for a long time because I do write education articles, and this was my first time writing a children's book. Even though I've read so many, you'd think I would know what I was doing. But this is a novel with 19 chapters for kids, and it's no small.
No mean feat. Yeah.
So, and trying to keep the thread. I mean, I have charts of who's connected to who. I had to draw a map of the area, so that even the kids walking to school, that I make sure that I maintain the same route all the way through the book. To make mistakes that don't match up. And so you have what's called a structural editor. And a structural editor, there are many phases of editing. So the structural editor is the first editor, and they look at all of that. They question timelines. Well, hang on, if that's such and such's grandfather, and the grandfather's friends with the other child's parent, how can that be? Oh, that's because they had their child young, and I've already worked this out. I've mapped out the ancestral lineage. And
the book, yeah.
I had done all of that, and so the structural editor said to me, wow, you've really done, everything matches up. That made me get rid of 2 characters. It was like killing 2 friends.
Yeah.
And it was the best advice. I was resistant to that because I loved these characters, and they said let them go, and I said, but what about the things they do to drive the story? Assign those actions to other characters, and what you'll end up with is less characters but more active characters.
Yes, yeah.
So, I mean, there's so
much to it, right?
Yeah, you just cannot think that this is ready for publishing. You must have professionals from the industry. So I had a wonderful woman called Bernadette Foley, who's in Sydney actually, and she's worked in publishing for 30 years, worked for Hachette and other children's publishing, and then she said to me, look, you never keep the same editor for each stage of editing. So then you have copy editing, which is, looking more down at the paragraph and sentence level, and, looking for any, and then there's style guides. There's not one way to use commas. You have to, every publishing house has a style guide. Do we use single quotation marks or double?
Yeah, wow.
Quoting within a speech, so our convention is single quotation marks, but then if you're quoting someone within a speech, you use double. And do you use italics for titles? Or Anyway,
Yeah,
you
yeah,
have to have a consistent style guide, and every publishing house has their own way. And they
yeah.
always, you know, a particular, like our style guide was the Macquarie Dictionary. So I've learned so much about
That process, yeah. And so the you know, the independent publishing house that you've created, is that something that you're doing just for your work, or yeah, right.
At this stage, you know, I'll never say no to what could happen in the future.
Yeah.
But at this stage, it's just for what I produce. And Billy Bobbarooni and the Mystery Words is the first book in the series. And I'm just itching to start writing the second book. But I've been taken up. And this is where maybe getting a publishing deal would be great, because everything that I've been doing since writing has been about putting the book together and working with designers. And there's, you know, the editing, then there's the formatting, selecting fonts for inside the book. I mean, you have the list
just goes on. Yeah.
So if I had a publisher, I would be busy writing my next book and they would be doing all of that.
Yeah.
But in this way, I've got full control and really good relationships with everybody I've worked with. So my designer is absolutely fantastic.
Yeah.
And he has, you know, produced this cover, which is exactly what I had kind of
envisioned. Yeah.
But better, you know.
Yeah. And so how do we get the book, Lisa? How do we get the book? Do we get it through you, obviously?
You just go to laplandproductions.com. It's available for pre-order at the moment. We're waiting on stock to arrive from our local printer, and that they've done the forest safe paper and everything for us. I've tried to be as ethical as possible with this book.
The whole process,
It's arriving on the 10th of September, but I've got people are buying it already. So
that's awesome. Yeah, I'll be buying a book. Can you put the link in underneath when we're finished?
Sure.
If you can just put it into the comments, so then people can jump in and get it. I've got a couple of people that I'm going to tag in the interview that, you know, got kids that might not be on right now because it's, you know, homeschooling friends that would absolutely love it. So,
well, I'm producing some fairly comprehensive teacher notes, and I'm calling them teacher and parent notes, because it's linked in with things in the curriculum, ideas in the curriculum. There's history, there's ideas about conflict resolution, community, different text types to look at, word work. I've got vocabulary lists and all sorts of things. So there's a lot actually in there, but it's great. So you wouldn't want to do every activity that I listed. It would kill the book. But there's lots in there that you can pick and choose. Oh, yeah, I might do that.
Yeah.
So
that's awesome.
Guide to know what you're reading, and the rich discussions you can have from the text, because there's Professor Porterman drops lots of pearls of wisdom.
Yeah, right.
That the kids consider, and he helps them kind of shape their growth.
Yeah. Oh, that's fantastic. Sounds like awesome book. So I'm really looking forward to it. My nephews and nieces are under 8 at the moment, but I'll still get it for future, you know, for in the future. So
yeah, and they can handle it, you know, if someone reads it to them. But yeah, it's a good book to share, you know, to read to kids. Yeah.
Sounds awesome. Thank you so much, Lisa, for joining us.
No worries. Thanks for having me. And there was just one other thing that I wanted to say. Don't forget, you know, when you're, you know, at home with your kids and you're trying to get through all your home schooling and all of that, to just go easy on everybody, you know, go easy on the kids, go easy on yourself. You do not have to be a teacher, you know, in the home. Just do what you can. And, you know, if it's too much, get the kids off the screen and share a good book.
Yeah, absolutely. Great advice. We don't have to be doing it all, right?
Yeah, exactly. And you know what? Having a meaningful conversation with your kids, sharing family stories, you know, just feeding in some good vocab when you're going to the park and you're describing, you know, things that you see around the place. You know, those things are great for literacy development. So,
Yeah.
you know, actually getting off the screens, talking to your kids, sharing books, discussing the world, discussing family stories. It's all broadening kids' literacy experiences. So,
Yeah.
that. And don't forget to do cooking with your recipes and, you know,
the mathematics and the measurements. Yeah.
A literate environment, you know, lots of talk, lots of creating, lots of discussion. It can be fun.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much for sharing. I loved having you on.
No worries. Yeah.
And definitely, you know, encourage everyone to grab a book so that, you know, all of that richness in the storytelling, in the conversations, in, you know, the play and enjoyment that sounds like that. I want to read it myself. So
yeah, it's good fun.
yeah, sounds great.
There's a mystery and riddles to solve, but riddles are fantastic because they're short amounts of text, but they really get that metacognition going around reading between the lines and really good literacy practice of, you know, what does that mean? Because riddles have double meanings and you've got to really try and unpack them. So there's riddles woven in along the way and they're really good to try and work out together as a family too.
Yeah, right. That sounds awesome. Excellent. Take care, Lisa. Thanks everyone for watching.
Thank you. See you.